Today on Hampton Roads Business Weekly, designing a business, literally. Plus, how do you know if your business is doing well? We'll tell you about one of the most important metrics you should be tracking.
And creating a legacy through your company. Get ready. Hampton Roads Business Weekly starts right now. Hello and welcome to Hampton Roads Business Weekly, a look at the businesses and entrepreneurs making a difference in Hampton Roads. I'm Zach Miller.
And I'm Cheryl Tan. We begin today talking about change, specifically knowing when to capitalize on an opportunity, even when it means fundamentally changing your business. We're talking today about designing a great business with Donna Counts and Susan Pilato, the co-owners of PC&A Business Environments. Donna, Susan, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
You're longtime business partners as well as designers by trade. And I want to talk about your business journey because it's had some ups and downs and it's gone so many directions. I actually want to start with one piece that started in 2014 that turned you into a commercial furniture dealership. So what was it that shifted your business in 2014?
So we've had a wonderful client called Town Bank for about 15 years now. And we understood that we needed to diversify our client base. However, we didn't have the infrastructure to really do that. And at the time, Candy Arrington, who's been a mentor to me and a friend for 20 years, we had gone to lunch and she said, you know, Sam's ready to retire, I'm not. And one thing led to another and we acquired them. And we became PC&A, Pilato Counts, and Arrington. So with that came a wonderful set of people and infrastructure and launched us into being truly a furniture commercial dealership. Commercial furniture dealership.
That's hard to say. It is hard to say.
Yes. So we, and we're designer owned, and Candy is a designer, and the people that came with her are designers, and then of course we have admin and project managers and such. But what was exciting about that is we acquired the line Inscape, and through training classes that we had to go to Canada for, we learned about this new business opportunity coming along called Elm Workspace with Inscape. And what happened was Elm was about to expand their headquarters. They started looking around at what was available in commercial furniture and it was like, this is kind of boring. And they were right. A lot of designers are seeing the same kind of furniture just regurgitated through different plastic laminates and such. So they said, we can do this better. They hooked up with Inscape, developed a line, and started looking towards Inscape to say, okay, distribution, which naturally would go to a commercial furniture dealership. Since we are one, we decided, and we're designer owned, we thought, we get this. They were like, yeah, we're only going to do New York, Miami, the big guys. I'm like, but don't count us out. We've got a really great area. Norfolk, and they're like, Norfolk, isn't that a naval base or something? So we put together a marketing plan and talked to the CEO of Elm and Inscape and eventually won them over to see us as a great state, a great area, and they gave us the state of Virginia outside of Northern Virginia.
I think it's so interesting that one decision where you said we need to diversify, and you really did as former just a regular design firm, moving into a dealership. How scary was that to entertain that thought? I mean, I know that Mrs. Arrington came up to you, but before that, I mean, how scary was that to know that you were doing something completely different?
It was a little scary, but we had known Candy for a long time and knew the reputation and the business skills that she had. So we kind of went with our gut on that. We've been used to changing our flow, changing with the times or changing with the demands, and we've experienced a lot of different avenues of business and design, but we knew that we could not do the infrastructure it takes for a dealership without having the background, and she brought that to us. So we liked the combination. It also brought designers that were support for the dealership, and I'm titled the design director. I wear many hats in the business, but I oversee the designers, and what the dealership brought to us was a more variety of clients, project types, and very talented people that already knew how to manage that.
And it also puts you kind of on a different level. You're not in competition with designers anymore. Now you can offer them something and you all can work together.
Right.
And that's what's so exciting, because of the experience that we've had, especially through Town Bank. I mean, they've been a wonderful client. They've taught us so much. I always say that Bob Aston has made us the designers that we are. We wouldn't have the expertise that we have without him. Because of his attention to detail, and we understand that that really is what design is about. And so now we are able to have that peer-to-peer discussion. We understand what designers go through. We're not competing with them. We're a resource for them.
Right. Well, congratulations,
Thank you, Cheryl.
Susan, Donna.
Thank you, Cheryl.
What's the one metric you should track to make sure that your business is going well? We're going to find out next from Jay Livingood, Yellow Dog Software. Welcome back to Hampton Roads Business Weekly. We are here with Jay Livingood of Yellow Dog Software. What's going on, Jay?
Not too much, just trying to make the company work here every day.
I hear it. Tell me a little bit about Yellow Dog.
So we're a 10-year-old software company. We developed a inventory system that we focus on the hospitality sector. And for us, those are resorts, casinos, restaurants, really places that are fun, that you would enjoy going to, that serve food and drink typically.
Did you start it so that you could go to those places?
I had previously been working in that industry and enjoyed it, but certainly was very attracted by the hospitality industry. I enjoy working in that space and working around those types of businesses.
One thing that I think a lot of people that are interested in business are misled about is software will just fix everything. But what I appreciate about you is that you're also really good at sales personally. What are some of the ways that you've been able to take a piece of software, an inventory system, and actually get the sales as well?
Well, the approach in our business has been all partner referred business. We've been doing it long enough now where our clients are bringing us revenue, kind of some self-generation, but prior to that, it was really selling to partners who sold a solution where we were an add-on piece. So it was really selling to the sales organizations of those team, and then those salespeople that represent that company would then bring us into opportunities. So it's a little bit of the Tom Sawyer paint the fence type of thing. I'm trying to get others to paint the fence.
Very cool. You guys have grown up to 25 employees at this point. At what point did you start realizing that that growth was going to continue to grow away from just you?
Almost immediately. It took probably, we were operating for about a year with 2 of us, and then it became 3, and then it quickly became 5 and 8, and now we're up to 25. And we're essentially adding people as we have growth. So the more we grow, the more we'll add people.
I've heard a lot about presidents and CEOs of businesses, and as that company grows, that kind of founder has to step away because they can't continue to grow the business. What are some of the ways that you are trying to make sure that doesn't happen to you and that you get to stay in the business?
That's a good question. What my experience has been is that as the business has grown, my role has had to grow. And I think that's probably what you're alluding to, that if you start a company thinking you're going to stay in the same role that you started with, then that probably won't work. You probably won't be able to grow it. I started out doing, a lot of things, heavy focus on sales, but now I'm really out of that, and I'm really trying to manage and grow my team. So I miss some of the things that I used to do when we were early on, but I've just had to evolve and grow to keep the company growing. So hopefully I'll continue to adapt and change every couple of years. My role seems very different of what it was 2 years prior.
Is there one metric that you track from the business that you can really tell that helps grow the business, or when that number is going the other way, you need to kind of adjust?
Biggest thing, kind of a lead indicator for us, are leads and conversion of those leads and how quickly those leads do turn into business. So, and we have to look at all of those, because looking at just an increase in leads without a conversion doesn't help grow the business. And a decrease in leads, but if the conversions are higher, that just means we're getting better at finding focused leads. So we have to look at all of them carefully, but we do look at all those really on a weekly basis.
Is there, when you're looking at those numbers, is there a specific kind of story behind it to make sure that, hey, this thing that was going well isn't just an outlier? Or how do you kind of look at that weekly to make sure that this is going down, we're going to be able to fix it quickly, I guess?
I think we're a little bit, in our sales approach, we're somewhat farming. As I mentioned earlier, we're working through partners, or we're getting referred, brought in by partners. So really it's a question of, are each of these partner channels producing the leads or producing the crop for us? And that's where we have to focus our time, which is if we're seeing a drop off in a particular segment, yes, we have to investigate and understand, did they find somebody else that maybe is replacing us? Have they forgotten about us? Are they on a decline? What's happening there? We have to do some investigation.
A lot to think about. Jay Livingood, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
What motivates an entrepreneur to start a company? Money, freedom, and for at least one entrepreneur, it's about creating a legacy. We're talking all about that with Jeffrey Rayford, the president of Tuskegee Contracting, coming up next. Timing is everything in business. I know our next guest would definitely say that. I'd like to introduce you today to Jeffrey Rayford, the president of Tuskegee Contracting based in Hampton. Thanks so much for joining us today, Jeff.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
So when we're talking about timing, you had a distinguished career in the military, and then you went into civilian work and then became an entrepreneur. What was that impetus? What pushed you into being a business owner?
Well, probably going to work for other business owners when I retired from the Air Force. I saw how they did it, got experience with 3 major small business companies, and really learned the process working with those 3 companies to have the confidence that I could do it too.
That's so inspirational too, and I know people had told you, I think you can start your own company. So you did when you found the opportunity that you could. And I know 8A, the 8A designation was important to you. What does that mean, and how critical has that been for the growth of your company?
Okay, well, the 8A certification is a certification that the SBA, Small Business Administration, allows for minorities. And after you fill out miles of paperwork and get approved for the program, then it gives you the opportunity to work directly with the government for sole source projects.
Interesting. And as far as the experience that you gained before you started that company, that was critical to help you figure out the rules and the regulations that you needed to deal with after you got 8A.
And that's one of the reasons why we were able to get started so quickly and be successful early on when we started in the 8A program, because we already had the tools and the knowledge of what needed to be done.
So for somebody who's watching this and is maybe looking at that 8A certification, this has helped you grow. In the last 2 years since you've had this certification, you now have 10 employees.
That's correct. Yeah, counting myself.
Yeah.
Have 6 field superintendents and 1 project manager and 2 office staff, an office manager and administrative assistant.
Right,
So,
a lot of growth. So what has the 8A done for you?
well, it's given me the opportunity to grow from an office at my home to establish a business in Hampton. We lease a building that's about 3,000 square feet, and given me opportunities to try to become successful as a small business using the opportunities that you get through the 8A program.
Right. What advice would you give to somebody who's looking at using this certification to help them grow?
Well, first of all, make sure you understand what the program's about and what's required from the clients that you're going to work with, so that you know starting out how to manage the paperwork and give them what they need so that they can be comfortable giving you the sole source work. And the other thing would be to develop your relationships with the client and give that time to develop before you start your 8A. Because as soon as you get your 8A certification, it's a 9-year program and the clock starts immediately.
Right.
And at that 9 years, you know, you're supposed to be ready to graduate as a successful small business and or transition into a large business.
Right. So you're in the beginning of your 9 years and working toward becoming a much bigger company. So
Yes.
congratulations.
Yeah, we're about 2.5 years into the program. Yeah.
And I know another part of your company, the reason why you started it, is you wanted to create a legacy of sorts, which is why you named your company the way you did, Tuskegee Contracting, after a relative who was a Tuskegee Airman.
That's correct. My uncle was one of the original Tuskegee Airmen, and his name was Lee Rayford, and he was one of the 450 Tuskegee Airmen that went to Europe, and he was there for about 2-3 years, and when he came back, he was recognized and achieved quite a few accomplishments and received quite a few medals from that. And a lot of the barriers, challenges that the Tuskegee Airmen faced helped things be a little easier for me to have opportunities that I wouldn't have had they not done what they did. And so I want to continue to highlight that legacy in our family and to bring attention to the Tuskegee Airmen.
Talk about a little bit of inspiration, right?
Yeah.
Well, congratulations and thanks for sharing your story.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you.
So what exactly is business development? Sales, data, marketing? Is there something else? We'll tell you next on Hampton Roads Business Weekly. Welcome back to Hampton Roads Business Weekly. We're here with Sarah Zimmerman of Sumitomo and Regent University alum. Sarah, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Let's talk about business development. A lot of people think it's sales and marketing. What do you think it is?
So for me, it includes analytics. So studying the different markets and different trends to bring that data into the sales and marketing team. In addition, for us, our customer satisfaction manager works up into the business development, and so it's about giving the customer a good experience when they're dealing with the company. And then in this day and age, a lot of things have changed in regards to our customers. So our demographics are younger, and they're wanting tools that used to not be available. So for us, we have a product configurator, and that falls underneath the business development department as well.
What type of tools are they requesting?
Yeah, so for they don't, in the old days, when you would select a product, you would get a catalog out and you would go through it and select the product that way. The younger generation prefers to select things online and electronic. So
We make things so difficult.
Yeah, we've taken all of our information now and converted it into an online configuration tool. So you can start with thousands of combinations, and we start asking you a series of questions, and then you can narrow down to a specific product you want. The output of that is a specification sheet, and in our industry it's also a 3D CAD drawing, so that the customer can take our product in a 3D CAD modeling and put it inside their product.
Why is business development so important?
Yeah, so I think we have to look at the different markets and trends and what's going on in the marketplace so we can look at what's coming down in the future. So for a product like ours, we have to watch things like government regulation. So when we decide to spend money in the US on different projects, the road expansion is one of those. So we announced that we were going to spend a lot of money on highways, and what do you need to make highways? Concrete. So, and cement. So if you make cement, our products drive the cement industry. So those are the kind of things, if we're not forward looking at those types of things and adjusting our inventory, our sales strategy to meet that demand, then we will not have product and we won't be able to service our customers. And that's just one example of the types of things that we do on the business development side.
How big is the team there?
So the total team in business development is 6 members.
Okay.
Not including marketing and engineering that report up into it.
And so when a new tool comes out, are you guys open to them looking at using that in the process, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we get lots of phone calls from a lot of different people asking us to try different software and different information exchange. And
They're doing their own business development on you.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we vet that type of information as well.
What's the best? What converts when those people contact you?
So it depends. One thing that from a business side, the company that we work for, we set a budget. And so a lot of that has to do with the timing and the information that you present the information, and then can we use it in the future. So one example that we started doing a couple years ago is we were looking at the Internet of Things. So a lot of the companies now, they don't have the resources to have the maintenance staff that they used to. And so they don't have somebody to go out and check the product to see, hey, is it going to need new oil, or it's reaching the end of its life. So we've worked with a company with their sensors, and now we have sensors on our gearbox that will feed back information to let the customers know that the gearbox needs maintenance or is reaching the end of their life. So that's somebody that brought a product to us. We started collaborating and working with them, and then now we have a new product for our customers.
Very cool. Sarah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And with that, we wrap up another edition of Hampton Roads Business Weekly.
Make sure you like us on Facebook and Twitter, and then head over to hrbusinessweekly.com to get more information and watch previous shows.
For Hampton Roads Business Weekly, I'm Zach Miller.
And I'm Cheryl Tan. We'll see you next week.
Hampton Roads Business Weekly, sponsored by Regent University and produced by 13 News Now.